Okay, guys, basically we are live. Let's wait a couple of minutes. Let's take this opportunity to introduce ourselves. We are Cloud Marketing, and we organize this webinar in order to gather some big names in the hosting industry and those who are related to the hosting industry in order to bring some new insight into some of the major questions that revolves around everything about hosting industry and all the ever-changing industry that we are dealing with. So we can start by introducing each one of you, and you can give us a brief summary of what you have been doing, what kind of experiences you've had, and then we can go ahead with the questions. So let's start with Burkay. Greg, could you go ahead?
Yeah, of course. My name is Burkay. For 12 years, I've been working for hosting industry on the marketing sites. I've worked for Reseller Club and Natro.com, which is the industry leader in Turkey. I work for as a marketing manager of them. Currently, with my company Cloud Markethink, we are organizing the largest cloud event of Eurasia named Cloud Talk Global. Apart from this, we are helping hosting and cloud providers for growth and marketing side with my team. And today, this webinar held by Cloud Marketing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please. Ruslan, you can go ahead.
Sorry. Hello, guys. Thank you for the invitation. I miss talking to people, actually. So my name is Ruslan, and I am co-founder and CEO of Jelastic. Jelastic is a multi-cloud platform as a service, which was designed for developers to solve their like DevOps needs, infrastructure management needs, and for hosting service providers. So we enable hosting service providers to offer these tools in different countries for developers and for DevOps guys. So we're about 10 years on the market, very experienced in complex automation stuff and working with many partners around the world. Like happy that we have this opportunity.
Thank you for coming here today, Ruslan. Could you go ahead, Igor?
Hello, everyone. My name is Igor Seletsky. I'm CEO and founder of CloudLinux. I've been in the hosting market since 1997, so I've seen it rise, and I see where it is today. Today, we're focusing on shared hosting, security, and just making sure that you can sleep at night.
Thank you very much, Igor. Lucas.
Yes, hello everyone. This is Lucas Hertig. I'm in the hosting industry about 18 years now. I've gone through many sales, marketing, different positions over the years. Today, I'm mostly looking after business development, corporate development, largely M&A strategy. Well, not only Plesk, we also own cPanel, WHCS, and other products for our holding called WebPros. Yeah, and I'm also looking after mostly as our partnerships. For example, we have with Igor's company a very deep partnership, and we also partner with Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and so on, where I'm sure maybe we'll talk about it later as well a little bit. And happy to be here today with everyone.
Thank you very much for being here, Lucas. All right, so let's start with the questions. Well, the industry is a very competitive industry. I mean, if you compare them to other sectors that are rather similar to this one, and we have big competitors in this industry, and we need to adapt our business if we want to not only flourish but also to survive here. So my first question is regarding customers. So I mean, I want every one of you to give a brief your brief insight into the idea of evaluating the current state of hosting industry, especially in terms of customer demand and the direction that it's evolving. Could Igor start?
It is interesting. So for the past, I would say 5 years, we've seen a lot of consolidation, simply because the market has saturated, especially in US and Europe. There is a lot of consolidation. There is not many new hosting companies, and it is simply because most of the customers already have the website, and most of the movement from the customer site is from one host to another. It's not a new site. On the other side, in Latin America, in Asia, in Africa, there is a lot of growth still in the market. And most of it is all about WordPress. People still want WordPress. WordPress is a dominant force. So in those markets, being local, being able to speak local language, provide local support does matter. Understanding the local needs really matters. There is still room for growth, but mostly outside of the Europe and US.
Thank you, Igor. Could you elaborate on that, Burkay?
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for this nice question. First of all, I want to say that customer demands in the hosting industry have changed. Now there is a new generation with different demands. As you know, that Y generation and Z generation come out on the stage, and customers are now much more impatient to get what they want and want to set up the maybe previous years, but we need to have a new approach on this side. And first thing is they are looking for uninterrupted services. Like previous years, they are still looking for high uptime. They want their website to be up always. They always giving importance uninterrupted services on hosting, website builder, even for DNS and domain management site as well. And the second thing I see in the market is hosting companies looking for accessibility. And this is very important for them to reach the hosting companies when they need. And in case they need any kind of support, they want to reach the support from different channels, not only from the email, maybe they want to reach the companies from the social media. They want to reach the companies from the online chat on the web, on their website. And wherever they are online from, they want to reach from them. And apart from the support, they also want to reach the content and other things which is going to educate them easily to decide about the services, how to use the service kind of services. And it's very important for them to reach the hosting companies whenever they are in needs. And the third things I see is the easy to use tech and simplicity. This is very important for this new generation customer to have a easy to use products, and because they don't want to bother with technical details, they want to manage it by themselves without spending much more 1 hour time, and they want to set up the website easily, they want to buy the product easily, so they are looking for easy to use products on that site because they don't have time. They want to give this time to take care of their legal things, financial things. So always we see that they are looking for easy to use and simple products to use in the markets because they don't have time. They want to save from time. And mostly they are willing to pay more if you can do it for them too. So they want to know the alternatives on the services sides. For example, if it is hard them to manage their websites or hosting product, they want you to do it for them. So this is also very important demand coming from them. And the last thing I want to say is the flexibility is so important. They want to cancel their services in case they need, if they are not happy with the product, or whenever they need more, they want to upgrade the services. So you need to give them a flexibility to cancel, upgrade, or whenever they want to change their product.
Thank you very much, Burkay. Very, very good points, both of you, Igor and Burkay. Let's move the conversation to Lucas. What do you think about what the other two panelists said? Do you agree with them, or do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I fully agree what Igor and Burkay said before, and I will not repeat everything again. I think maybe if you say it's not called hosting anymore, it's actually cloud computing. You have these different layers, right? You have like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. And when you look at the hosting companies, they're actually getting disrupted from two sides at the same time. So when you look at their end customers, usually web professionals, builders, whatever kind of, sometimes SMBs, these end customers now have many more options with Wix, Shopify, and Squarespace, and other large SaaS players that also focus on an agency audience. And then when you look at it from a hosting company on the infrastructure service side, they're getting disrupted from the hyperscalers. So I think Burkhard said about simplicity and flexibility, you know, I don't think it's simplicity and flexibility. I think it's either simplicity versus flexibility, or it's like a diagram, right? The more flexibility you want, usually the more complex it gets. You know, well, we did studies over years ago with SMBs that a single person single person SMB that just gets started, maybe goes to Wix, a lot of simplicity, but no really flexibility. But as soon as they need more flexibility, they may actually realize that you cannot export a website from Wix. You're really locked into their platform. You go rather to WordPress, what is like about 40% plus of the market today of websites, because it's open source, it's self-hosted, it's self-managed. It's more complex, it has a learning curve, but it allows you much more flexibility. And on top of it, also, I mean, Igor, what you said in terms of everybody has a website, I was thinking that as well till COVID last year. I realized even in Switzerland, my home country, there's lots of small retail shops that have websites from 1992. But now they realize they need to sell online. So a $1 a month shared hosting is just not enough. They need a VPS, they need help, they need an agency, they need e-commerce, you know, that has more advanced requirements in terms of resources you need. And I think there is still opportunity, a lot of opportunity to actually differentiate from a Wix or Shopify and so on, and focus on that WordPress horse that still grows like crazy, and differentiate yourselves and even get a higher price for it.
Thank you very much. Very good points, Lucas. I want Ruslan to not only give your opinion about the question, but also elaborate a little bit about what Lucas said about the relationship between flexibility and you know, being simplicity. I mean, the challenge is to provide a service or a product that is both simple and at the same time it satisfies the needs of the customer. But how can we achieve that?
Yeah, very good point. Let's start from this. Definitely, there is a conflict between simplicity and flexibility. Or you get it very simple and you're locked, or you get more flexible and it becomes complex. But in reality, is that we evolve, and you know, this level of such engines. So, for example, in the past, something was very hard to do, but today it's easy to do, and still it's flexible. So you can connect different stacks together, like you can build highly available topologies, clusters, and it's easy, guys, now, and it's still flexible because there are containers. You can spin up different kind of containers, different versions. So we are evolving. Of course, there is a conflict, and in a specific period of time, it's hard to get, like, you know, everything simple and everything is flexible. But levels are moving up, actually. So that's my understanding, and that's my observation. Also about WordPress, I would like to say, like, it's really, let's say, driving force in hosting industry. However, from other side, let's say, like, I would call it like traditional hosting, right? We are getting transformation to cloud hosting. So people who offered in the past just VPS and like WordPress, they are trying to offer more sophisticated solutions. Like, because again, people want this availability, like scalability, you know, because traffic might come, they wouldn't want to lose all this marketing money, and they wanted to have like 100% of uptime. So that means it enables then customers to build their custom solutions faster and cheaper and easier comparing to the past, right? Like, they don't want to just VPS anymore. They want some kind of cloud platform that enables them to move faster to their goal. And we see a huge growth in this direction, specifically in DevOps direction, right? Like developers, DevOps. So in our case, for example, WordPress has big share in terms of revenue, but it's small comparing to all these custom deployments we have inside. Of course, I'm talking about our specific case, right? Because we built a platform for developers, right? But we have customers and it's growing, and it's growing nicely, and it has bigger, let's say, shares than WordPress and Magento and other standard things. Like, again, talking about our specific case. So that's my point of view.
Thank you very much, Ruslan. All very good points. Thank you, guys. Okay, let's move to products and services. So what sort of products or services do you think each hosting company should focus on? And what reasons should they have? Should they only care about what the customer needs, or are there any other criteria that need to take into consideration? Let's start again with Igor, since he was waiting for a long time. Igor, please.
Thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity. I love going first. Anyway, so I think WordPress is a king. I think that's where most of the money for hosters is today. And yes, there is a lot of other opportunities. There is cloud hosting. There is platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. But hyperscalers are such a force today that it's very hard to get even a piece of that market. So I think today it's very important to continue focusing on WordPress. There is competition there as well. There is Automatic, there is WP Engine. But if you think about it, when your customer comes for WordPress, there is few things that they need. First of all, security. Security is absolutely important, and it's important in so many ways. So if your site is hacked and infected, the search engine will delist it from the index, and that means there is no traffic. The data pilfering might not be a big problem today for hosters, but on the other hand, if one of the customers comes to, well, one of the customers of your customer comes to the WordPress site and gets redirected to the competitor or getting splash, your computer is infected or some other message like that, that's loss of trust, loss of sale. So your customer will be unhappy. The loss of sale will take him down. So it's extremely important to have the security around WordPress sites, and quite often customer is not able to deliver it. So I think in many ways it's the responsibility of the host to make sure that security comes with the hosting. Another side is speed. So once again, most of the traffic comes from search engines, and search engines today prioritize based on speed. So you have to be able to deliver fastest WordPress possible. That's how WP Engine makes their money. That's how another 20 highly specialized WordPress shops make their money. They promise really high quality, high speed WordPress hosting. And I think if you cannot play this game, you will lose on that market, WordPress market, and that's the biggest source of revenue today. So make sure you have CDN, make sure you have object caching, X-ray, all that stuff to make the site for your customers as fast as possible. And beyond that, there is a WordPress enablement, be it Elasticsearch, be it Redis, all those small components that are needed to make WordPress sites just a bit better, compatible with that and that plugin. I think that's something that any hoster can do, and very important to keep customers, to attract new customers, and to grow those customers.
Thank you very much, Igor. Very, very good points. Ruslan, would you like to elaborate on what Igor said?
Yeah, look, in hosting, in traditional hosting, WordPress probably is a king for sure. But we do see transformation from traditional to cloud hosting, because it just, not enough food for people anymore. Because there are other players, like if you can you do better than WP Engine? I have really big doubts, honestly. So you need to offer something very unique, and for this you need to develop this unique solution. How you can develop this unique solution if you are, a hosting service provider? If you sell in the past like VPS, so you need to hire a team and do R&D, and it's very complicated process. So I see some kind of conflict. We will see more consolidation at the end, like, and we will see like one, or not one, like several key players in WordPress industry. So from other side, again, like you still can earn money, but on what things you need to focus. There are two ways: on what customers want or what you know. So I would suggest start from the things you know. If you know nothing, like learn something, because it's really hard to just deploy a product and generate money without efforts and without managed services and without specific knowledge. So build your unique knowledge in a specific niche. Even in WordPress, it's fine. Like you can still earn money in WordPress or in Magento or whatever, or like build custom solution for your customers, because there are so many other solutions. There are many people just hate WordPress. Like I like WordPress. We run WordPress. I just say what we see from from what kind of feedback we get from developers. Some people love Java, like some people love PHP. Like it's a kind of religion. So find your passion first of all. Focus on this passion. Don't go like super wide. Focus on the specific thing. And think about your size. Like if you're too small, like don't try to compete with large guys. Like try to use their power. Deploy across multiple regions. Like so many companies do it today. So use their facilities to get to different regions, to different markets. So that's my view on the issue. And of course, watch the trends. And the trends says like microservices, right? Containers, Kubernetes. So all these things are coming and are hot today. It means like more and more customers integrate into daily processes. Like people deploy things on top of Kubernetes today. People deploy things inside Kubernetes, inside containers. And I don't believe like Kubernetes is the best solution for WordPress, honestly. Because it's like overcomplication, it's overkill, but it's really good for like highly available, highly loaded productions, like because you might need to do like some batch processing or like ticketing, I don't know, like whatever. Like so there are so many different things you can do, but again, like find your specific passion and focus. That's my feedback.
Thank you very much, Ruslan, for very good question, very insightful questions. Lucas, apart from elaborating on what the other two panelists said, I mean, I want you to look at this because you provide a a special product for hostingers. I also want to know what you think in terms of what has been your experience in dealing with hosting companies and what kind of advice you can give them.
Yeah, I would maybe pick up one thing from Ruslan, and it's not a technical thing. It's that part of niching down. For 20 years, I talk to hosting companies and I ask them what they do, and they say, I do shared and I do VPS. Then the next question is, who are your customers? Who is your ideal target customer? And the answer is everyone. And then I say, like, where? And they say everywhere. A lot of companies, they try to be everything for everybody everywhere. Despite this is very hard to do. If you're GoDaddy and you have the big pockets, you can't do that. But if you're a smaller company and you're operating maybe just in one market, try to define and find out who your actually majority of your customers are. Learn how to do marketing. That's a very important thing. A lot of companies, they were in a comfort zone saying, okay, I'm just launching this new product and someone will buy it and let's see, and I go to the beach. I think these times are over. And the key thing is there to actually take your existing customer database and have a look if you can recognize patterns in your customer database. When you recognize patterns of certain niche or certain target customers that you have, talk to them, pick up the phone or make appointments with them, do user research, ask them what their business is, what their needs are, and all these things. And based on that, you might find new patterns that, for example, you might actually want to charge 5 times as much because you have a customer base that can afford it, and you can actually find other customers in that space. You will then find new products and new services that may fit your specific country, your specific business niche, your specific whatever. This is missing in a lot of hosting companies, that you actually learn to go away from selling generic shared VPS hosting and really add value to a certain niche that you may already have and you didn't even realize it yet.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Lucas. Now, Burkai, you have been dealing with a lot of hosting companies from another side. You have been a marketing manager for a couple of them. You have been providing marketing services to many of them. What is your perspective in terms of what sort of products and services are better in terms of reaching the customer, or what suggestions you have for new products?
Actually, Nawab, what I see about the hosting industry is classical hosting market is shrinking in terms of profitability since there is a price wars between hosting companies these days. The problem is most of the hosting companies offering the same product with same feature, and from industry leader to small scale of hosting companies claim that their uptime rate is so high, they do unlimited SSD, they do unlimited website, etc. So mostly they are offering the same things. Of course, in fact, there could be a quality differences between companies, but at the end, from the customer angle, they see the same thing when they visit the GoDaddy and small scale of website. They see the same offers. So hosting companies need to rethink about the profitable products with value-added services as well. I cannot say new product name maybe in the market, but I can say some value-added services like managed services mostly, and or easy-to-use products mostly, and also some kind of other service management from a single platform maybe. The first thing I want to say, the product needs to be easy to use. That this could be website builder, domain registration, or hosting. And for maybe 10 years, 15 years, there is a website builder solutions in the markets. But the thing is that the users who purchase this product not able to activate them. According to very well-known website builder solutions in the markets research, it said that 35 of the website builder purchasers not able to activate their solution. So if you can't activate your customers, you cannot monetize them and you cannot renew them next year. So you need to consider easy to use product, not just for easy to activate, maybe easy to migrate them from the other providers, easy to make them edit their websites and up their websites easily. And product like website builders, e-commerce store builders, managed WordPress is a well-defined products and taking so much demand day by day. Especially the managed WordPress is rising in all the markets. For example, I worked for 6 years in the industry leading hosting companies in Turkey named Nacho.com. When I was working there, I see the huge demand to manage service since the customer doesn't have time to take care of any technical things. They are busy. They don't want to take care of any kind of things about the technical problems, FTP management or mail management. They wanted to do so. And also, they also give importance to manage all this kind of services from websites to email from one single platform. This is very important for them. I see some industry leading companies such as maybe GoDaddy and Ionos is offering very good kind of solutions like suites, makes you manage all your services in that hosting companies like email, marketing services, and your website builder. So this kind of bundle suite services is very good for hosting companies to manage your all online presence. And also last thing to say, activating them is not enough. You need to help them to be found with kind of services like SEO management, Google Ads management services as well. Because if they make money from their website, from their e-commerce store, next year they are going to renew this. They are going to repurchase this. So you need to consider this kind of products if you want to monetize them again.
Thank you all for all your insightful notes. It's very interesting and it's very intriguing to listen to all of these ideas from the marketing point of view, from the technical point of view, and to sum up something as that could be helpful for all those people who are listening out there, who could be from hosting companies or new or old. Okay, so let's move to the other question. We covered customer demand, and also we talked about products and why should any hosting company provide different products. What about technologies? Because of this change that is coming to the has come to the hosting industry, what sort of technologies should any hosting company invest in? Let's start with Lucas.
Yes, I think there is not a single black and white answer in that perspective. I think what we see is that there is still a lot of traditional monolith stack usage, like a Plesk from us. You know, I mean, when you talk about managed WordPress at larger scale WordPress sites and you talk to agencies, the truth is that most of them don't do horizontal scaling using complex AWS technology because it's very complicated to manage, requires more advanced engineers. Many of them are actually taking, for example, just a very big Plesk or cPanel box and put Unified 360 from Igor on top of it, and then this thing is rock solid and secure, and it scales enough also for a good marketing campaign, and it's easier to manage. Nevertheless, when you look at the more modern hosting companies, like a WP Engine, like a Kinsta, like recently a SiteGround, they have been all moving to, or they are on AWS or Google Cloud. They're using more containerized technology. They're using more scalable technology, but also them, that makes it much more difficult to manage for them. So we'll need to see where that goes. Yeah. You know, I think also you can use certain technology from hyperscale cloud where it fits. You know, for example, in Plesk, we run certain services behind Plesk. It looks like it's running in the product, but it's actually a SaaS service coming from behind into the product that we run on AWS. So we basically mix and match this part a little bit. I definitely think there is an opportunity to use some of these technologies as a hosting company as well to actually provide a better service to your customer, either more scalable, more performant, more secure, or it also allows you to use these technologies in other data centers where maybe you didn't have a data center before to expand your business and such kind of things. Then when you look at technology overall, maybe to complete on that, we in MedPros with Plesk and cPanel, we have a clear direction of what we initially called self-driving server. Now it's kind of smart server, as we call it. That, you know, a lot of people don't want to care about all this crap, sorry for the word, you know. I mean, nobody wants to deal with terminal and SSH and you should use this kind of command and all these things anymore. You know, it should just work. It should be solid. It should be secure, you know. And so what we are focusing on heavily is to increase more and more the degree of automation on the stack level, you know, that you really have, if you manage a server, that it feels like shared hosting or easier. And we try on all different parts to make advisory or even fully automated things around DNS, around mail optimization, about all these things that are complex to manage. That is just like a self-driving car in the end. Yeah, I think that's really the goal, that you can keep the flexibility on how you use technology, but what runs on the hood. I mean, if you run a Porsche or you buy a Porsche for 100,000, you don't want to know exactly how it works. You just want to know it's the best engine out there, right? And it just works. And so I think that's a similar direction that we are looking into the service provider and hosting industry as well.
Thank you, Lucas. Ruslan, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree that, you know, you need to take a look at automation, like, and I like examples from real life. Like we have one partner, we call him the guy, the data center in notebook, you know, like, because he's so smart and he automated all complexities that other people, you know, like do like maintenance and all this stuff, like they hire a team. This guy just do it once, automate, and he does not repeat it anymore. Like, you know, and it's unbelievable sometimes, like how he does it. Of course, he doesn't do it by hands. He uses tools for this, right? He doesn't go and do not program, like, but he learns the tools and implements these tools. For example, Jelastic can help a lot to manage multiple servers, right? Like not one VPS. Like if you have like 100 servers, like, or even more, like, and you need to manage multiple customers to see like what they do, like who is doing the better, who is doing worse, like, you know. So you need to have automation tools for sure, like to be at the age, like to be competitive today. Like otherwise, like, you know, this age is, I mean, this time's left already. Like, you know, just VPS, you deploy a server and something standard. Like nobody cares about your product anymore. Like because there are big guys, there are like guys who focus specifically on specific niche. Like why people should go to you? Like just try to answer this question to yourself first of all, like, and then try to convince other people, you know, to believe you, like, and prove that you can deliver value to end customers. So, but automation is for sure one of the most important things, like continuous integrations, continuous delivery, like automated updates, you know, like automated testing, what you did, like how you deploy to production. Automate your security as well, like, you know, it's possible. It sounds crazy, but it is possible, you know, if you use sophisticated tools. So automation is the king now.
Thank you very much. Automation is truly one of the, you know, main points, and not just in hosting industry, but all, you know, across all the you know, IT and all retail and everything. You know, everything has automized, and it has not only you know, it has caused some sectors to shift and change, especially in physical work, but it has also created so many other opportunities for other areas of industry. So the same question, Igor, what do you think?
Well, automation definitely is a king. I think Plesk and cPanel did a lot towards that. And majority of hosting companies that we see that have at least 20 servers, they already automated the heck out of it. It's all Ansible or Puppet. It's all automatically provisioned. It's all automatically updated. So configuration is the same across the fleet. Logs are managed from centralized locations. I think they're doing good on that. And to be honest, I'm not that into high availability setups that some of the larger hosts are doing. Like I know SiteGround did try to do that or doing that. And the results are mixed. So I do speak to a lot of large hosts who went into that direction. And what they often see is that the performance of the websites actually crashes. So it looks really good on paper, but once you actually put 10,000 of websites on such cluster, your performance is significantly worse than a single server performance. So for most of WordPress hosting, I would say Plesk cPanel is still amazing solution that outperforms this high availability setups, and servers are so powerful today that they're more than enough to scale. So I think we're doing fine on that end. I think we're doing fine on security as well. So there is plenty of tools for security from my company, from other companies, but they have to be deployed. They have to be maintained. But if I would look in the future long enough, I think Kubernetes is the next thing. I think that what we're losing is a battle for the developers. Today, hosting industry is PHP developers only. I know Ruslan will disagree, and his company is doing a really good job for Java developers and other things, and it is great. And at the same time, Kubernetes is something that most developers want, most developers shop around today. So look into Rancher, look into Kubernetes, see if you can see an offering around those products where you can provide Kubernetes to your customers. The industry, well, let's just say developers will move to Kubernetes. The question is, will they move to Kubernetes with hosters or without?
Very good insights, everybody. Thank you, guys. Okay, so the next question is about security, which Lucas and Igor, you know, I think in multiple occasions touched on and you know, emphasized about the importance of security. But I want you guys to outline some kind of instructional or some kind of outlined. So what sort of precautions should hosting companies take in order to protect themselves from these growing threat of hackers, intruders, and especially with new GDPR rules in place? There are so many at stake here. So what do you suggest to hosting companies in terms of the precautions that they need to take?
I can go.
Let's
I
start
have,
with Igor. Yeah, Igor, go ahead.
yeah, I think I'm in a good position to answer it. We've been doing Communify for what, 4, 5, 6 years now. And we have a very large number of people running it. It's actually hundreds of thousands of servers by now. So we have a lot of visibility of what's going on. First of all, there is absolutely nothing as a hoster you can do to prevent attacks. The only thing you can do is buy either our solution or similar solution from the market, because the sophistication of today's security attacks, the hackers, is so high and they move so quick that you cannot do anything. And the way they attack is so multi-pronged, so they will brute force the IPs from multiple servers. They will use latest vulnerabilities in WordPress and its plugins within 24 hours of vulnerability being announced. They will create backdoors and use those backdoors to persist their infection. The only thing that changed in the last 5 years that we see less rootkits. So rootkits are no longer an issue, but individual account compromises on the hosting servers is a norm. What's also interesting is that most of them go undetected for years. So if we scan a new shared hosting server, we would typically detect up to 30% of accounts being already compromised and having some form of infection on them, which is kind of crazy. So it's very important to have a commercial solution from a vendor who knows what they're doing, because you simply cannot stop it yourself. Open source malware scanners will do absolutely nothing. They can see about 1/10 of what we can see. Most of the infections is not visible to the website owner because it is carefully set up so that it is visible only to the visitors. So the direct visitors, they insert banners, they try to infect them. The payloads change all the time. Yeah, so that makes it a big problem. The GDPR angle is actually not that important. We don't see exfiltration of data going on at all at shared hosting level or a single site level Plesk cPanel servers. It might happen, but it's so small and not it's not something we actually see as an attack. So we do a lot of reverse engineering to see what is a payload, and it's all about spamming through the website, spamming through the email account, attacking someone else, crypto miners. Crypto miners are really big right now, or just persistence to deploy new payloads. Another important thing is that even if you don't see it, quite often search engines will see the infection and they will delete site or kill its indexing, and it takes quite some time to get back. So it easily be a month of lost sales for your customers if they get infected and Google picks it up. The good thing is that Google is somewhat behind, so they typically see something about 3-4 months after we have seen something. So you have time, but if it's not cleaned up, at some point the site will be delisted.
Well, thank you for the comprehensive answer, Igor. Ruslan, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so specifically, again, like Igor covered WordPress direction, like I will skip it, like talking about more like developers, DevOps. it's good to protect your service as well. Like, so for this, you need to update software stacks timely, and to handle, like, you know, if you this manually or by yourself, sometimes it's a challenge. For example, in our company, we developed automated tools that just let's say controls new versions and automatically pulls, and then it deploys to a testing platform. So we check that our optimizations applied without any problem. So and customers just can press a button and update it. So that's one of the key important points. So you need an automation for delivery of updates. And also, I will suggest to pay attention on web application firewalls, which is very important for, specifically for WordPress, you know, because if something is known, big companies that offer web application firewalls, they can protect you. You don't need even to do anything. It's automatically deployed. And also very interesting one solution like application delivery network. So when it protects your backend fully, like, you know, from attacks, like from DDoS attacks, like, and from some kind of SQL injections and so on, like, so such kind of sophisticated things. But of course, even we are, I would say, like advanced company in terms of R&D, we use third-party solutions even from big companies, like, you know, this ADN and BAF, because like we cannot develop everything by ourselves, like even we have a good experience on this. What we can say about hosting service providers, you do need to cooperate with people who focus specifically on this. So you need to take some platforms or like, or take specific solutions for security. So security is important. What I can say more here?
Yeah, you're right. Well, you know, the reason that I didn't ask this question from Burkai is that, you know, because these are technical things and it's best to ask the, you know, the experts of this matter. Lucas, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has been covered already. Updates has been mentioned, you know, I mean, from a Plesk cPanel perspective, we have focused a lot on that in the last few years, that we basically said, look, most people don't invest into security or care about security until they actually get hacked. So we said, okay, how much can we actually implement that by default? You know, it starts with operating system updates, then it goes to Plesk updates. We have more than 90% of our install base, even though we are some software and not the full software service, under control with automatic updates these days. What helps already a lot. Then it goes to the stack level in the web server with WordPress, so that we recommend to do fully automated updates. If you don't like this, you can actually use smart updates, what copies your WordPress away, does AI-based analysis if it still works when it updated, and then copies it back. Then Ruslan mentioned web application firewall, 5G-ban, SSL everywhere. Password policies on the server are important, that they're difficult by default. Two-factor authentication should be recommended all the time, everywhere. Then with Igor's tools, you know, with Immunify 360, there's so many layers, even just covered by Immunify 360, hardened PHP, kernel care, CMS-specific rules, whatever, you know, that's what we call like more than the premium upgrade. But if you use, for example, cPanel or Plesk together with an Immunify 360, and I eat my own dog food, you know, I have a few productive websites and even an online store that I host, and in these two servers where I have Plesk and Immunify 360 properly configured, I can tell you, knock on wood, it works, it's solid, nobody is hacking me. Now we are also adding, for example, vulnerability database that we're providing in the backend of Plesk. That's now a more and cPanel, both for WordPress, that we are providing automatic vulnerability detection and patching, you know, as a complement to what Immunify does. That's just about to come, and you know, the goal is really to say, look, security should be peace of mind. You pay once, or part of it is actually there by default, and it just works. You just shouldn't get hacked, you know, because people don't really know how they should protect themselves with all this complexity behind.
Thank you for your thoughts. All right, so let's wrap this up and go to Q&A. There are some questions on the chat box, and also there are some in the Q&A section. So let me quickly scan the questions. All right, so the first question is from Carlos. He argues, I think it's about the first question regarding user demand. He says, but easier usability, better service, and improved access is a normal behavior of a maturing market. Clients do not forgive subpar product anymore, as they don't feel it's a new bleeding edge service anymore. AWS and its microservices, it jumps. Microservices have shown large corporations how to build their environments on a more decentralized format. But will this transpire to the lower market? Will the people building mom and pop websites adhere to a decentralized service, be it containers or microservices, or are we all stuck with the WordPress approach, single site, single service? Could you elaborate on that, Ruslan?
Yeah, I can answer. Yeah, if it's, I like the question. So for sure, like you know, like it shows. So we have like two different segments in the market. There is like mom and pop websites, and look, this will never go. It should not go to Kubernetes. So Plesk, like cPanel, perfect for such kind of things, right? For sure. Like, but if you build your custom solution, for example, IoT kind of platform, right? Like, or like, I don't know, like some kind of cryptocurrency exchange platform. You need to have the ability, like just, you know, mom and pop website, it's fine. Like if it's like one website, because if there is a downtime, like you don't lose anything. But if you have a lot of customers and goes down, like it's very bad, like you lose a lot. You lose a lot. Like, so havability is super important for large and serious businesses. Like I'm not talking again like about like one web landing page. Like, so we have different segments. And in our case, for example, one customers who deploy serious business solution generate like much more money for hosting service providers than like thousands of this like one web page websites, you know, because, and they actually, it pays back to them because they generate even more money from their customers. But what my opinion, mom and pop websites will stay where they stay, like VPS, Plesk, cPanel, whatever, like, you know. And more sophisticated will go to like microservices, Kubernetes. It can be like on top of large providers like Amazon. It can be on top of Jelastic as well, on top of bare metal with Jelastic, or on top of Amazon with Jelastic, or any kind of solution which offer automation, advanced automation. So you need to understand like where you will end up. Like if it's like landing page, like just don't go to the direction, like, you know, like it doesn't make sense. If you want to build like really scalable solution, like don't start with WordPress because it's not designed for this. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
Can I add?
Else?
Yeah, so I think Ruslan is absolutely right. Mom and pop shops will stay where they are. Developers care about API. It's not just about high availability, it's also about API. And that's why hyperclouds kind of won the developer battle. Like if you talk about developers, they all want to develop for the cloud. They all want to develop against AWS, maybe Google Cloud, maybe Azure, but most of them really want to sit on top of those clouds. And it is because of API. It's not even because of scalability or high availability. It's this ability to do everything as a code that makes it so interesting. And AWS is just so big and everywhere. So I think for hosters to get a piece of this market, they need a standardized platform that is also API driven, that has the ability to provide platform as a service. And I actually think that Ruslan platform, Jelastic, is a good way to go there. I don't know if it can get enough of a weight to get the developers in, so the developers, well, I would really like to work with AWS or Google Cloud or maybe Jelastic. I don't know if it's there yet. I hope it will be, but to get developers to go to hosters, we need something like what Ruslan is doing.
Thank you, Igor.
Thank you,
Lucas?
Igor. Yeah, thank you for highlighting this. And you know, like it was a question how to survive for hosting service provider. Sorry for getting extra 5 minutes. Like you need to be different. You need to be different in some way. Like you just cannot go and offer the same stuff. Like what, for example, we offer to our hosting service providers. We want them to provide new kind of billing model. We do have API. We do have high availability. We do have this like infrastructure as a code, but we also have something very unique that nobody on the market offering, even like big vendors, which is like called like pay-per-use, and it works amazingly with containers and with multiple instances because you don't need to worry about size of your instance anymore. And it's complicated problem, honestly, guys. So you need to think in advance how much resources to order. Like we are living in in 2021, 21st, yeah, sorry, and it should be solved already. We solved this problem. So this is a very good opportunity to compete on this. It's cost effective and flexible and scalable. So just 5 cents that there are still some things that you can do better than big cloud vendors. Maybe they will come up tomorrow and offer the same solution. They're actually trying to do the same for serverless. They promote like pay-per-use for serverless, but they don't offer this for traditional workloads. So it's always a game, like somebody moves forward, another guy catch it in the game. So
yeah, I hope that the person who asked this question got his answer. We got very comprehensive answer from 2 of the panels here. Lucas, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay,
I just read through the other questions at the moment where I would have some answers. Yes.
Okay, great. So let's move to the last question. I think this one is directed at Burkay. It asks about what sort of advice do you give small-scale hosting companies who want to compete with hosting giants for marketing?
Actually, when we think about marketing, we should not just think about the marketing communication. I think the marketing strategy needs to be started from product marketing. What I advise to small-scale hosting companies, they need to think about their product strategy very well. They need to analyze the demand on the markets. They need to observe the industry leader very well. And if they need to copy their maybe product strategy. Because what I see in the market, some scale of hosting companies still insisting on not to apply some of the products to their product portfolio. I still see some hosting companies not selling website builder or some kind of managed services, which is the industry fact. So they need to consider about their pricing strategy, and also they need to create some kind of micro segments to target. What I see with small scale hosting companies, they mostly doing some kind of one channel marketing. For example, they use just email marketing, or they are just using search engine marketing. It should not be like this. They should use all the marketing channels, from SEM to content, from social media advertising to other things. Maybe with small scale of budgets, they can do many creative things. And also what I see as a missing point, they don't have any brand positioning communication strategy. They need to claim something they are doing better than others. For example, they can claim they are the fastest one. They can claim they are the best on the WordPress site. They need to say something they are different than others, but of course they need to fill the background about this. I mean, saying that they are offering the best WordPress doesn't mean that they're offering the WordPress. Customer can easily understand this when they use the product. So they need to be careful about this kind of strategy. And maybe last thing about these also, they need to follow up the latest trends in the marketing from the industry leaders as well. Because since the industry leaders on the market has so many workers on their marketing departments, from product department to different kind of communication departments, they can observe them and they can answer them with the creative marketing strategies. I think this is about what they can do to compete with hosting giants in the markets.
Okay, great. A great end to this great webinar. Thank you guys very much for your perspective into the hosting industry. I think that this was a very productive and insightful webinar by everybody. And by the way, the video of the webinar will be uploaded to YouTube as soon as it's edited and ready. So you guys can catch it on YouTube as well. We will be sending a link to all of the attendees of the webinar. So thank you all very much.
Yeah, and also I want to add something. Now, currently we are in London. We open our London branch for Cloud Markethink, and recently we get started for the cloud event in UK and also in Istanbul. Lucas has come 2 years before for the Hosting Talk Global in Istanbul. Hope to welcome Ruslan, Igor, and Lucas in London and in the Istanbul again for our physical events next year.
Hopefully.
Thank you. Yeah, we
Thank
will
you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.